You know, life has this funny way of testing us when we least expect it. Sometimes you walk into a room filled with opportunity and your heart starts racing. Sometimes you face rejection and all you want to do is scream, cry, or just walk away. That's human, that's emotion. But let me tell you something very honestly. If you let your emotions dictate your choices, you'll keep running in circles. Success doesn't come to those who just feel. It comes to those who plan, who act, and who stay consistent even when emotions scream otherwise. Think about it. When emotions rise, clarity disappears. Anger clouds judgment. Fear blocks courage. Excitement tempts you into quick decisions. But strategy is like a compass. It doesn't waver, it doesn't bend, it doesn't get carried away. Strategy keeps you focused on the bigger picture. I have learned that in moments of pressure, the strongest thing you can do is pause. Take a breath. Don't answer from your heart, answer from your vision. Don't act because you're provoked. Act because you know where you're going. That's what separates leaders from followers, builders from dreamers, winners from quitters. And no, this doesn't mean you shouldn't feel. Feel deeply. Let emotions inspire you, but never let them drive the wheel. Emotions are the fuel, but strategy is the engine. Without strategy, you'll burn out before you reach anywhere. So when the world tells you react now, choose to step back. When people test your patience, don't give them your fire. Give them your silence and your plan. When opportunity knocks, don't rush blindly. Study it, calculate it, and then strike with precision. Because in the end, life is not about how loudly you felt, but how wisely you moved. Remember this. Move with strategy, not emotion, and you will not just survive the storm, you will command it. Emotions are fuel, but strategy is the engine, and when you think about that deeply, it changes the way you approach every single decision in your life. Emotions are powerful, they push us forward, they give us passion, they make us want to jump, scream, love, fight, and chase our dreams with fire in our eyes. Without emotion, life would feel empty, and honestly, you wouldn't even have the desire to get out of bed in the morning. Emotions make us human. They connect us to our vision. They ignite creativity. They give us courage to take that first step. But here's the truth. If you let emotions run the entire show, you'll be running without direction. You'll keep starting things you never finish. You'll burn out because emotions rise and fall. They are unstable. They change with situations, and they cannot always be trusted to take you where you truly want to go. That's why you need strategy, because strategy is the engine that takes that raw, fiery energy and channels it in a way that actually moves you forward toward your destination. Think of a car. You can pour fuel into it all you want, but without an engine to direct that fuel into motion, it's useless. That's what emotions are without strategy, powerful but wasted. A burst of excitement might push you to start a new project, but without a clear plan, that project will die as soon as your motivation fades. Anger might make you want to prove someone wrong, but without structure and discipline, your actions will only cause more chaos. Love might inspire you to build something meaningful, but without foresight, it might collapse under pressure. Passion lights the fire, but strategy builds the road that keeps the fire burning without destroying everything in its way. That's why the most successful people are not those who only feel deeply, but those who can take those feelings and translate them into smart, calculated moves that last beyond the wave of emotion that created them. Every great achievement in history was fueled by strong emotion, but executed with powerful strategy. When someone builds an empire, they are not relying only on excitement, because excitement fades. They are not relying only on anger, because anger destroys. They are not relying only on love, because love alone can be blind. They combine the raw force of these emotions with clear goals, step-by-step planning, patience, and discipline. That is how movements change the world, how businesses rise from nothing, how individuals transform their lives. The emotion is the spark, but strategy is the fire that never goes out. Without strategy, the most passionate dreams can die. With strategy, even the smallest spark of emotion can grow into a legacy that lasts generations. The problem is, most people confuse motion with progress. They think that because they are emotional, because they are busy, because they are reacting, they are moving forward, but movement without direction doesn't take you anywhere. Strategy gives direction. Imagine someone rowing a boat in circles. They are working hard, sweating, and exhausted, but they're still in the same place. That's what happens when you let emotions take over without strategy. Now imagine someone who maps out the course, studies the currents, and uses their energy wisely. They might not move as frantically, but every stroke takes them closer to their goal. That's the difference. Strategy ensures that your energy is not wasted, that your emotions are not running wild without purpose, but are instead fueling meaningful, consistent action towards something greater. The most difficult moments are when emotions are strongest. Fear before a big opportunity, anger when someone disrespects you, excitement when a new chance appears, sadness when things don't work out. Those emotions scream for attention. They want to take control. They want to make you act immediately. But those are the moments when you need strategy the most. A person who acts out of fear might run away from the very opportunity that could change their life. A person who acts out of anger might destroy relationships they actually need for their future. A person who acts out of excitement might rush into something they are not ready for and end up regretting it. But a person who pauses, who feels the emotion but then channels it through strategy, will act with wisdom, not weakness. That pause, that moment of clarity, that plan, those are the tools that turn raw emotion into true progress. Discipline is the bridge between emotion and strategy. When you feel inspired, discipline tells you to build a plan before acting. When you feel defeated, discipline reminds you that feelings are temporary but strategy is permanent. When you feel unstoppable, discipline grounds you to execute carefully instead of recklessly. This balance is what keeps people consistent over years and decades, not just weeks and months. That's why some people burn bright and disappear, while others rise steadily and remain unshaken no matter what comes their way. Strategy doesn't kill emotion, it gives it a purpose. It transforms energy into action, passion into persistence, and chaos into order. It takes the highs and lows of human emotion and weaves them into a consistent rhythm that keeps you moving forward even when your heart feels unsteady. So, whenever you are faced with a choice, remember this truth: emotions can inspire, but they can also deceive. Strategy doesn't lie. Strategy is the engine that will carry you through the storms when your emotions abandon you, when your motivation is gone, when your energy is low, when your excitement fades. Your strategy will still be there, pulling you forward step by step. And if you can master this balance, if you can use emotion as fuel but let strategy drive, you will always have the power to move not just fast, but far, and not just far, but toward the life you truly want to build. When emotions rise, clarity disappears, strategy keeps you steady, and that is one of the hardest lessons to learn in life. In the heat of the moment, when your heart is racing, when anger surges or excitement overwhelms you, your mind loses its balance. You see the world not as it is, but as your emotions color it. Anger makes you see enemies where there are none. Fear magnifies problems and turns small challenges into impossible mountains. Excitement blinds you to risks and makes you jump without looking at what's beneath you. Love, when unchecked, makes you give too much without realizing whether what you are building is sustainable. Every emotion has the power to distort reality, to fog your vision, and to make you act in ways you later regret. That is why clarity disappears in emotional storms. You think you're being decisive, but often you're only reacting. And reactions don't build legacies. Strategies do. Strategy is the steady hand on the wheel when the storm rages. Think about a sailor in the middle of a violent ocean. The waves are high, the wind is screaming, and fear is real. If that sailor lets fear dictate their actions, they panic, they lose control, and the boat is destroyed. But if they remember their training, their map, their instruments, their strategy, they stay calm, they steer through the storm, and eventually they reach safe waters. Life works exactly like that. Emotions rise like storms. They come suddenly, they shake everything, they test your patience, they test your courage, they test your strength. But strategy is what keeps you upright. It's what prevents you from making decisions in weakness that will haunt you later. The truth is, most people live like slaves to their emotions. If they feel motivated, they work hard. If they feel tired, they quit. If they feel angry, they destroy relationships. If they feel excited, they overcommit. But the people who truly build something meaningful are those who have trained themselves to rise above this cycle. They don't deny emotions, they acknowledge them, but they never surrender control to them. They pause, they think, they plan. They don't allow temporary feelings to create permanent consequences. This is the essence of strength, not in fighting emotions, but in mastering them with strategy. Consider how often emotions have led people into traps. A person insulted in anger responds instantly, only to regret the damage later. A person too eager for success jumps at the first opportunity, ignoring the red flags, and ends up losing more than they gain. A person fearful of failure avoids risk altogether, never realizing that their fear kept them from growth. These are the pitfalls of emotion without strategy. Now imagine the same scenarios with strategy involved. The insult comes, but instead of reacting, the person stays calm, saving their dignity and striking only when it benefits them. The opportunity arises, but instead of rushing blindly, the person studies it, calculates the risks, and enters at the right time with preparation. The fear of failure appears, but instead of running, the person uses strategy to take small, calculated risks, building courage step by step until fear loses its grip. This is the difference between losing yourself in emotions and using strategy to keep steady. Clarity is power. When you are clear, you can see opportunities others miss. You can read people better. You can anticipate problems before they arrive. But clarity does not come in emotional chaos. That is why the best decisions are almost never made in moments of high emotion. They are made in calm reflection, in deliberate thought, in quiet strategy. The ability to step back when emotions rise, to pause before speaking, to breathe before acting, that is the mark of maturity. It is not weakness, it is wisdom. Because every time you let emotions dictate your choices, you hand over your power. And every time you let strategy lead, you take it back. Think about the difference between a candle and a lighthouse. A candle flickers with every gust of wind. It's fragile, emotional, unstable. A lighthouse stands tall in storms, guiding ships to safety, unshaken by the chaos around it. Emotions make you the candle, strategy makes you the lighthouse. People who let emotions rise without control flicker in and out of opportunities, jobs, relationships, and dreams. But people who let strategy lead shine steadily. They become the guiding force, not just in their own lives, but in the lives of others who look to them for stability and direction. This doesn't mean you should suppress emotions. In fact, emotions are valuable signals. Fear shows you what matters to you. Anger shows you your boundaries. Excitement shows you potential. Sadness shows you where healing is needed. But signals are not instructions. Just because fear appears doesn't mean you run. Just because anger rises doesn't mean you fight. Just because excitement comes doesn't mean you rush. The role of strategy is to interpret the signals of emotion and then decide the best course of action. It's like hearing an alarm bell. Your heart may panic, but your strategy tells you where the exit is. The alarm matters, but the plan saves you. Great leaders, creators, and visionaries have always known this. They feel deeply, but they move carefully. They use emotions to connect with people, to inspire action, to fuel their own drive. But when it comes to making the big decisions, the ones that shape futures, they choose clarity over chaos, wisdom over impulse, patience over haste. They don't let the rise of emotion dictate the direction of their lives. They let strategy keep them steady, so that even when the world shakes, they remain grounded. So the next time emotions rise, remember that they are temporary. The anger you feel today will cool tomorrow. The fear you feel now may look small in hindsight. The excitement that seems overwhelming will fade with time. but the consequences of decisions made in those emotional states can last years, even a lifetime. That is why clarity matters more than speed. That is why patience is stronger than reaction. And that is why strategy will always be the steady force that carries you through moments where emotions try to take control. Pause before reacting. Vision must guide action, not impulse, because the moments where you want to react the fastest are often the very moments when silence, patience, and strategy are your greatest strength. Life constantly throws situations at you that provoke emotions. Someone disrespects you, a deal falls apart, a relationship hurts, an opportunity excites you, or a setback frustrates you. The natural instinct is to react immediately, to let the emotion in that moment dictate what you do or what you say. But reactions born from impulse almost always carry regret. They may feel powerful in the moment, but later you realize they did not move you closer to your vision. They only satisfied a temporary emotion. That is why pausing is not weakness, it is mastery. Pausing allows the mind to catch up with the heart. It creates space between what you feel and what you choose. And in that space lies wisdom. Think about how many relationships have been destroyed because someone spoke out of anger instead of pausing. Think about how many opportunities have been lost because someone rushed into excitement without preparation. Think about how many dreams have been abandoned because fear pushed someone to quit before even trying. Every one of those moments could have turned out differently if there was a pause, if there was reflection, if there was a connection to vision instead of impulse. Your vision is your bigger picture, the place you want to go, the legacy you want to create. When you allow vision to guide you, every action is intentional, every word is deliberate, and every step is aligned with your future instead of your momentary feelings. Impulse comes from emotion, and emotion is temporary. Vision comes from clarity, and clarity is long, lasting. An impulsive decision may feel urgent, but urgency often tricks you into believing that action now is better than action later. The truth is, most great moves are made not in urgency, but in patience. A pause allows you to ask yourself, does this action serve my vision, or does it only serve my emotion right now? If it serves the vision, act with confidence. If it only serves the emotion, hold back, breathe, and wait until clarity returns. This discipline separates those who wander from those who build, those who chase from those who achieve. Pausing does not slow your progress. It protects it. The power of pausing is that it transforms reaction into response. A reaction is immediate, emotional, and often destructive. A response is thoughtful, strategic, and aligned with your goals. The pause creates this transformation. Imagine standing in front of someone who insults you. The impulse is to react, to fire back, to prove yourself in that instant. But what does that really achieve? You may feel relief for a second, but you've given away your control. Now imagine pausing, holding your silence, letting the other person reveal themselves while you remain unshaken. Later, you choose a response that serves your dignity, your vision, and your long-term respect. That single pause protects your power. This applies not only to conflict, but to every area of life. Business decisions, financial choices, relationships, even personal growth. Pausing lets you measure twice before you cut once. Vision is what keeps you anchored when impulse tries to drag you in different directions. Vision is the reason you started, the reason you endure, the reason you keep moving when the journey gets difficult. When you let vision guide action, you are no longer distracted by every emotional wave that rises and falls. You are guided by something bigger, something steady, something that doesn't change with mood swings or temporary circumstances. People who live by impulse spend their lives reacting to whatever comes their way. People who live by vision create their way. They don't move because they are pushed, they move because they choose. That difference is what defines leaders, creators, and those who leave a lasting mark. It is easy to confuse impulse with passion. Passion is powerful, but true passion is patient. It doesn't just want to burn brightly for a moment. It wants to last, to grow, to create. Impulse burns fast and disappears quickly. Vision ensures that your passion is directed, sustainable, and fruitful. That is why vision must always be the compass. Without vision, passion becomes chaos. Without vision, anger becomes destruction. Without vision, fear becomes paralysis. Vision gives these emotions a channel, a path, a reason. When you pause, you give yourself the chance to connect back to that compass before acting. You remind yourself of what truly matters, and that reminder shapes your next step in a way no impulse ever could. Some of the greatest regrets people carry are the words spoken too quickly, the decisions made too hastily, the actions taken without thought. They replay those moments in their minds, wishing they had paused, wishing they had waited, wishing they had thought about the bigger picture. On the other hand, few people ever regret pausing. Few people regret waiting a little longer to respond. Few people regret taking time to ensure their actions match their vision. The pause protects you from regret, and in doing so, it protects your future. Pausing before reacting also gives you an invisible strength, self-control. In a world where most people are slaves to their emotions, the one who can pause, breathe, and choose is rare, and that rarity creates power. People notice when you are unshaken. They notice when you don't react like everyone else. They notice when your words carry weight because they are not impulsive, they are intentional. Self-control earns respect, and respect builds influence. Influence creates opportunities that emotions alone could never open. All of this begins with something as simple yet powerful as a pause, so in every moment where your emotions rise and push you to react, remind yourself that vision must be the guide. Ask yourself, does this reaction serve who I want to become? Does this align with the future I am building? Does this reflect the leader, the creator, the person I aim to be? If the answer is no, then the pause is your best friend. And when the answer is yes, then your action will not just be powerful, it will be purposeful. Because in the end, your life is not shaped by the impulses you gave into, but by the pauses you honored and the visions you followed. Don't give people your fire. Give them your silence and your plan, because fire is energy, and if you throw it at everyone who provokes you, you'll burn yourself out long before you reach your destination. Fire is meant to fuel your journey, not to light up battles that don't matter. Too often, people want to pull you into unnecessary conflicts. They want to distract you. They want to see you waste your strength, proving something in the moment instead of building something lasting. They provoke you because they want your reaction. They want you to spill your fire where it doesn't belong. The strongest thing you can do in those moments is withhold that fire, hold your silence, and let your strategy do the talking when the time is right. Silence is not weakness, it is control. A controlled fire is unstoppable. A scattered fire is dangerous but useless. Your silence keeps your energy contained. Your plan ensures it is released with precision. Think about how many times you've seen someone lose everything simply because they couldn't hold back their reaction. A competitor makes a move, and instead of focusing on their own growth, they waste time fighting back in anger. A critic speaks harshly, and instead of staying composed, they spend their days trying to prove themselves to someone who doesn't even matter. A betrayal happens, and instead of moving strategically, they lash out, exposing their pain and losing their power. These are the traps of giving people your fire. Fire is passion, it's life, it's vision, and once wasted on petty battles, it doesn't come back with the same strength. But when you guard it, when you nurture it, when you let silence protect it, you keep that energy alive for the battles and opportunities that truly deserve it. Your plan speaks louder than your anger ever could. When someone doubts you, they expect your fire. They expect you to shout, to argue, to prove them wrong in words, but words fade. Silence backed with progress is unshakable. While they wait for your reaction, you are quietly building, preparing, creating something so undeniable that when it finally appears, no reaction is needed. That's the power of silence and planning. It makes your results the response. And results are louder than any fire you could ever throw at them. The world doesn't remember the arguments you won. It remembers the things you built, the dreams you brought to life, the changes you created. Silence and planning are what make that possible fire. Uncontrolled is chaos. Fire with direction is power. The same energy that could be wasted in defending yourself against small-minded criticism could be used to design a future that leaves those critics irrelevant. The same passion that could be wasted in revenge could be redirected into creating a life so extraordinary that revenge becomes unnecessary. The silence is the container, the plan is the blueprint, and the fire becomes the force that drives you forward when it's time to act. Every great builder, leader, or creator knows this. They don't waste time answering everyone. They don't waste energy reacting to every challenge. They don't spread their fire across meaningless arguments. They let silence confuse the noise around them while they quietly prepare to deliver something that cannot be ignored. The beauty of silence is that it creates mystery. People don't know what you're thinking. They don't know your next step. They don't know how to prepare for you. When you react emotionally, you show your cards, you reveal your vulnerabilities, you give away the advantage. But when you stay silent, you hold the power of uncertainty. Others cannot predict you, they cannot disarm you, they cannot control you. This unpredictability gives you strength, because the less they know, the more careful they must be. Meanwhile, your plan moves forward, piece by piece, hidden behind your silence, waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. That revelation, when it finally comes, is far more powerful than any reaction in the heat of the moment. The plan is the proof. Fire may intimidate, but plans build empires. Fire may scare, but plans sustain. Fire may shock, but plans endure. Your silence and your plan are the shield and the sword. You use them together, protecting your energy while preparing your strike. It's not about never responding, it's about responding with precision. Instead of reacting in anger, you respond with achievement. Instead of wasting energy in conflict, you respond with creation. Instead of giving away your fire, you let it build until the day your plan turns it into something undeniable. That is when your fire is no longer a flame that burns briefly, but a light that guides for years. Life constantly presents you with choices. React now or build quietly. Every time you choose silence over reaction, you protect your vision. Every time you choose planning over impulsive fire, you strengthen your future. It may feel unnatural at first because the world teaches us to fight back instantly, to prove ourselves loudly, to show our power immediately. But true power doesn't need to announce itself. True power is felt when the results appear, when the vision manifests, when the plan becomes reality. That's why silence is not about doing nothing. It's about doing the right thing at the right time. It's about conserving energy until the moment comes when your actions are undeniable. The fire you carry inside you is sacred. It is your passion, your drive, your hunger, your creativity, your belief. If you hand it out freely to every critic, every challenge, every distraction, it loses its value. But if you protect it, if you let silence guard it and planning shape it, that fire becomes unstoppable. People will wonder how you kept your calm, how you never wasted time in petty battles, how you stayed focused when the world tried to provoke you. And one day they will see the results of your silence and your plan, and they will understand that your fire was never gone. It was being prepared for something far greater than a momentary reaction. Life rewards precision, not passion without direction, and this truth separates those who burn brightly for a moment from those who shine steadily for years. Passion is beautiful. It is the spark that makes you believe. It is the force that pushes you to dream bigger. It is the reason you dare to step out of comfort. Without passion, there would be no drive, no hunger, no courage to chase something more. But passion on its own is not enough. Passion without direction is like fire without focus. It blazes fiercely but burns out quickly, leaving only ashes. Precision, however, takes that same fire and channels it, aiming it with purpose so that it doesn't just create heat for a moment, but builds something lasting, something that stands long after the passion of the first spark has faded. Passion often makes people rush. They get excited, they start fast, they move without thinking, They believe that their feelings alone are enough to carry them through, but excitement without clarity leads to mistakes, wasted effort, and frustration. It's like running in circles with endless energy. You feel like you're moving, but you aren't getting anywhere. Precision turns that running into progress. It forces you to slow down, to ask the right questions, to create the right plan, to put your energy exactly where it needs to be. Precision doesn't kill passion, it refines it. It makes passion sustainable. It makes sure that your energy is not wasted but invested, and that every step you take brings you closer to the result you want instead of scattering your strength in every direction. Look at an archer pulling back a bow. The passion is in the strength, the fire, the desire to hit the target. But without precision, the arrow flies anywhere and everywhere, and no matter how strong the pull, no matter how much energy is used, it achieves nothing. Precision is what allows that energy to matter. The aim, the focus, the patience before release. That is where the reward lies. The same applies to life. You can work day and night, you can feel deeply about your dreams, you can pour your heart into everything you do. But if it's not aligned with a clear direction, you'll spend years moving without building. Precision ensures that your actions count, that they hit the mark, that they actually change your life instead of just exhausting you. The world is filled with passionate people who never arrive anywhere because they confuse emotion with execution. They believe that their desire is enough, that their energy will carry them, but energy without a map leads nowhere. Passion is the car, but precision is the GPS. One without the other is incomplete. The car may be fast, but without direction, you'll end up lost. The GPS may know the way, but without the car, you'll never move. Together, they create progress. This balance is what separates dreamers from achievers. Dreamers live in passion. Achievers live in precision. Passion gets them started. Precision gets them finished. Precision also demands discipline, and discipline is where most people falter. Passion makes things exciting. It feels good. It's full of fire. Precision requires patience, detail, and the willingness to hold back when rushing feels easier. It asks you to measure, to calculate, to refine, to correct yourself again and again. But that discipline is what produces results. A musician can have passion for sound, but without precision in practice, the music never evolves beyond noise. An athlete can have passion for the game, but without precision in training, they never reach their peak. A creator can have passion for art, but without precision in craft, the work never lasts. Life rewards those who can combine both. Those who are not just loud with passion, but sharp with precision. Passion can also blind you if it's not guided. When you are passionate, you may ignore red flags, you may overlook details, you may get carried away by emotion and lose sight of reality. Precision keeps you grounded. It forces you to look deeper, to study the details, to prepare for risks, to see the things that passion alone would miss. It's the balance between dreaming and doing, between energy and execution, between excitement and endurance. Precision slows down the noise and ensures that every ounce of your passion is used effectively, that it doesn't just burn but builds, that it doesn't just move you but moves you forward. Rewards don't come from being busy, they come from being effective. People often mistake motion for progress, thinking that because they are doing a lot, they are achieving a lot. But life doesn't reward chaos, it rewards accuracy. The person who works fewer hours with precise effort often achieves more than the person who spends endless hours moving without focus. Precision multiplies the power of passion. It makes every effort count. It takes 10 steps of wandering and turns them into one powerful step forward. This is why the most successful people often seem calm and measured. They are not rushing, they are precise. They don't waste energy proving themselves at every moment. They save it for the moments that matter most. When you look at people who have built something extraordinary, you'll always see passion at the beginning, but precision in the process. The initial spark may have been passion, but what carried them through years of challenges was precision. knowing when to act, when to wait, where to invest, where to withdraw. Passion made them start, but precision made them last. This is the reason many passionate people burn out while precise people endure. The rewards of life, success, influence, fulfillment, legacy, do not come simply from feeling strongly, they come from acting wisely. They come from taking that strong feeling and aiming it like an arrow at the right target. Passion without direction is noise. Passion with precision is music. Passion without direction is chaos. Passion with precision is creation. Passion without direction is fire that burns. Passion with precision is fire that builds. The choice is always yours. You can live with scattered energy, moving endlessly but building nothing. Or you can train yourself to be precise, to channel that energy, to focus it, to sharpen it until every action, every decision, every effort counts. Because in the end, passion will make you run, but precision will decide where you arrive, and life does not reward how much you felt. It rewards how accurately you moved.